I think we're live.
All
What
right.
up, everybody? Welcome to the Monday morning Monday morning edition
Monday
of
morning report.
what we're going to be calling today the We Miss Hero parlays, which we'll talk about
Oh,
later. Um,
yeah.
it was a wild Sunday of sports. We probably, if it was the old days, we would have blown up our monthly text message quota on our phones as
Yeah,
much as we were
right.
going back and forth yesterday. Um, it was, let's start out. I mean, we almost had a Brookline-esque or even better than Brookline comeback at the Ryder Cup. The U.S. team was down 7 points heading into Sunday, and they had a chance to win it with 4 matches left on the course.
Yeah.
They if they'd have won those last 4 matches on the course, they would have won the Ryder Cup and would have had the biggest comeback in all of sport. There's no other comeback that would have beat that in sports history.
No,
Um,
no,
I
no.
mean, what was your take on Sunday?
Well, to be fair, football was on. This was over with. In our opinions, obviously
Yeah, we were
after
watching football.
after
We weren't even
Saturday,
watching it.
I was
Yeah,
watching football, and I would just occasionally put it back over. Over there just to see how bad was it, and it started off just like every other matches had started off. Europe got out to some leads in the first 6 holes for whatever reason. We just couldn't stop that. But then you just started to notice as it trickled into the back nine that wait a minute, they're only leading in one match right now, and they've got to at least have two to win.
yeah.
And then JT makes his putt. Cam Young makes his putt to both win both those
Dude,
matches on 18. Bryson comes all the way back from 5 down through
after
7.
seven, yeah.
Yeah, to have his match. And it made me just start to believe again. And then we
Just
had a
when I thought
heartbreaker
you
in
were
the
out,
end. But
they pull
yeah,
us back in.
yeah,
So I was,
exactly. Just
I
when we
was
thought we were done.
Yeah, I was switching around with it, and then I had to go to the basement to fold some laundry, right? And so my TV in the basement, I didn't have YouTube's TV set up on, so I was just doing. I was like, oh, I'll just throw the Ryder Cup on while I'm folding these clothes, and I turn it on, and all of a sudden the U.S. is leading in like every match except for the Aberg match,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I texted you. I was like, bro, might want to turn this on. And yeah, it was from that moment forward, laundry did not get done. Golf got watched, and I was screaming in my house and cheering and until Shane Lowry, um, did the thing that we didn't want him to do. But, he shout also, by the way, Russell Henley, how do you leave that putt short?
I
That's
know.
my question. He's going to be kicking
I know.
himself for that one. Also,
Yeah.
I forgot to put it in the rundown. Can we talk about the envelope rule, please? You get a half
Oh,
point because your guy is sick and can't play.
yeah.
Like,
That's one of two things needs to happen. Like if you physically can't go, in my opinion, whatever this is worth, if you physically can't go, either you forfeit your match. Like, sorry,
yeah,
you can't you can't play, then you can't win. It's that simple.
yeah,
Or two, there needs to be a 13th member of the Ryder Cup team selected that does not play unless there's an injury.
correct.
That's simple, and an absolute alternate that is only there in case of injury or whatever. So
I want to see a tag team match. I want to see somebody where it's like you can sub somebody in for a putt. That's what I want. But no, I mean, I'm kidding. The Solheim Cup doesn't allow that. If you can't play your match, it's a forfeit. Like,
oh really? I did
yeah,
not
the
know that.
Solheim Cup, as is the Walker Cup as well.
Yeah,
The Ryder Cup is the only one that does that. I think it's happened twice before. I think Steve Pate in '91 at Kiowa,
yeah, sounds about
the War
right.
on the Shore,
Yeah,
where it was crazy. I think there was another. I think it was
I
another one. The Belfry in '85. I think was another
yeah
one.
I get the idea behind it of it's a sportsmanship thing. That if somebody can't injure you, okay, we're just going to call this match a draw. But sorry, you
Yeah,
can't play, you lose.
yeah, exactly. So it was a wonderful. It made the golf after 2 days of just getting shellacked. Them, it was like a complete reversal. The Americans made every putt, and Europe couldn't buy a bucket,
Right.
except when Shane Lowry needed to make a 6 footer.
Yeah.
That was there was some. I mean, Russell Henley icing his veins, out of that bunker on 18. Hit it to 12 feet and then left the putt short. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Um,
It was one of those things, it's like it sucks that he missed that putt or left it short, whatever. But I mean, it was everything had to go perfect in order for us to pull that off. It's like there's going to
yeah,
be one thing that doesn't work out, in our
yeah,
favor, and that's why you're going to ultimately lose when you're
yeah.
trying to make that big comeback. And that was the thing that didn't work out. So
Yeah, it's like what's that quote from the movie Apollo 13? He's like, "Gentlemen, we have 11,342 things that we have to do, and we're on number seven." Like, yeah. But also, can we just talk about how I want to see Bryson DeChambeau on the PGA Tour again? I mean, dude, I was a hater of his when he went to Live. I still, I am on record on this show talking about how much I don't like Live and how much I don't think it's good for the game, and I was against everybody that went there. But Bryson, just I want to see him play more. I want to see him playing with the guys. I want to see him, on the team. I mean, we hear what Scotty and Keegan both talked about, the his what he did in the team room, and how he's part of the guys, and all of that. Like I don't know. I want to see more Bryson DeChambeau than I
would
get on YouTube.
would you say that maybe Bryson DeChambeau, you could say, is sort of like a modern day Arnold Palmer a little bit?
Oh,
When
100%.
he's, he's
100%.
he win every tournament? No, he doesn't win every tournament, but he's engaging with the people. He plays well, and that's all he wants is to grow the game and treat people the right way. So
I would say yes. I would agree with that comparison completely. I think he's the closest thing to Arnold Palmer that we've had since Arnold Palmer. I would argue a better comparison is he is a good, wholesome version of John Daly. That's what he is. I
okay.
think he's. I think he hits the ball a mile. He does the things the fans want. And yeah. But I mean, both comparisons I think are fair. When we were growing up, we used to go to golf tournaments all the time in Florida. You still do, and you would see Tiger Woods at Bay Hill at Disney, and he was always, the aloof, standoffish guy, and you had guys like Fred Couples that would come sit in the autograph tent until everybody, or guys like
Correct.
Ricky Fowler,
Correct.
right? Bryson is the kind of guy that will be out there with the fans and shaking hands and all that stuff. Like I
Mhm.
I I love that, but. Um, yeah, so Bryson needs golf. It was amazing yesterday. Also crazy was the Sunday night football game. Um, so let's talk about a rivalry game. We both, I mean, you hate both of these teams, but
Yeah.
I hate the Cowboys because I lived in Texas, and Cowboys fans are, pretty terrible. Just gonna throw that out there. Almost as bad as Eagles fans. And I don't think, when's the last time an NFL game is this as rare as I think it is, with a game ending in a tie like this?
It's not completely rare. I know. I'm trying to think of the last one. I know the Lions had a tie game a few years ago,
Yeah.
with the Steelers. So, but yeah, it's pretty rare, especially now that with the rule changes and things like that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it could be a bit more common now because both teams actually get to possess the ball.
Hmm.
Whereas, before it used to just be coin flip, field goal, game over, for the
Right.
most part. So,
Yeah.
it's probably slightly more common that it could happen now, than it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say, um, you know, I was not expecting that game to be close. I was not expecting that game to end in a tie. I thought, if anything, the Packers were going to blow the Cowboys out. I did not see
And
that.
it started out that way, but
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
Cowboys at the end of the first half really made it a game. And if you want to
Okay, let's
talk
talk
about
about let's talk about
parlays,
the let's yeah. So I'll tell everybody here. So we put these picks out every day, right? We'll bet on the three legs of the parlay, in the individual ones. You guys know that. But we also G Money and I have a tradition on the weekends of football of what we call the quit our job parlays, and that's where you put a 10 to 20 pick parlay together, that for a dollar or two is going to pay 100 grand. And on the we had a 9 pick parlay last night, that we put together, and it was a lot of things. It was anytime TD scores, it was Jordan Love passing yards, it was Dak
Yeah,
Prescott
rushing
pass
yards,
attempts,
things like
and it
that.
was a bunch of stuff, right? 9 picks, folks. We went
Here,
8-1 on
yeah.
that parlay.
Here, can I show
And
my phone real quick and show how close we were to it?
yeah,
Can you see that at all? Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
that's that little red dot there. That's the one we missed, which was Green Bay Packers first half money line. And if it wasn't for
yeah.
a late turnover, that one would have hit too, and we would have been $4,500 richer.
Yes. So it was disheartening to say the least, but it was a great game. Craziness. I'm sure those fans are upset on both sides of the ball, and Vegas is happy for anybody who bet the money line in that game, because all the money line money went to Vegas, and they were happy about that. And we'll see. But it is Monday night. It's one of the rare Monday nights that we get 2 games on a Monday night. We should only have. I mean, really, there's one game tonight, and there's one Cartoon Network exhibition
Yeah.
on that side. But we've got Bengals and Broncos, and we've got Jets and Dolphins. So it's Monday, September 29th. We've got 3 Monday night football picks here. G Money, what are we looking at first?
Yeah, obviously the 2 games we got first one, we got Bengals Broncos that we're looking at. Denver, it looks like a pretty strong play here to cover the 7.5 point spread that we're looking at. Bo Nix has been very good, showing obviously growth and improvement in his second season. We got Courtland, Sutton, Jeudy providing his steady targets. And the Broncos passing attack has been productive enough to complement their ground game. So Jaleel McLaughlin has given Denver juice out of the backfield against the Bengals defense that was shredded for 48 points by Minnesota in week 3. Also, no Joe Burrow. So that's, they're probably going to be struggling until he's able to come back, if he's able to come back.
Yep.
So the Broncos balance should create plenty of scoring opportunities for them. So we're going to roll with Broncos -7.5 at -110.
Love that. All right. And what about number 2?
Number 2, same game. I'm just going to roll with the over in this one because the Broncos have the tendency to score a lot of points, or they can score a lot of points. So we're going to roll with that over of 44.5 at -105.
Yeah, love that. I mean, we're gonna have we're gonna have T. Higgins. The Bengals can still score points with guys like T.
Sure.
Higgins and Jermaine Burton, but Denver's got home field, and
Yep.
Bengals have no secondary. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on that. And then lastly, guys, we got the Jets and the Dolphins. Like I mentioned, this should be a after school special on the Cartoon Network. This is not a game that anybody cares about. Both winless teams so far, so they're not going to be winless. One of them will not be winless after tonight unless something crazy happens. They're both still a work in progress. If you want to be nice, both teams are going to miss the playoffs. The defenses are going to control this game because neither of them have any offense really to speak of. I think the Jets have scored under their team total points in all 3 of their games, and the Dolphins have done 2 of those 3. So the over-under is 45.5. We're going to take the under here at -105, and which is rare for us because life is usually too short to bet the under, except when the Jets and the Dolphins are playing. So we've got Denver -7.5. We've got over 44.5 in the Bengals and Broncos game, and under 45.5 in the Jets and Dolphins game. The 3-way parlay, guys, is +556. So don't forget to like, subscribe if you're on YouTube watching the live streams every day. If you're on Instagram, don't forget to follow us there. And we'll probably be off tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday as well, and be back Thursday for the night game. But either way, we'll see you soon for another edition of No Strings, Just Winners with the Wager Bros.